All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about something huge: fairness. It's a tricky subject, especially in a world that feels so random sometimes. We're going to explore how to see past our own biases and, maybe most importantly, how we can choose what really truly matters. And that's the real kicker, isn't it? Life just doesn't hand you a universal rule book for what's fair. What feels right to you might seem totally unfair to someone else, especially when our own interests get tangled up in it. So how do we even begin to figure it out? The key to this whole puzzle might just come down to one single word: arbitrary. When something is arbitrary, it means there's no real plan or reason behind it. It just happens. And that feeling of randomness, that's what really messes with our sense of justice. Okay, so let's start by digging into these arbitrary rules life throws at us. We run into them all the time. But the biggest challenge isn't really the situation itself, it's us. It's our own internal bias that totally clouds our judgment when we're stuck in the middle of it all. And this right here, this is so important. The second we're personally involved, when it's our feelings, our outcome on the line, our judgment gets foggy. We start bending the definition of fair to fit what we need, and half the time we don't even realize we're doing it. So how do we fight that? That's where this next part comes in. To get through this, we need a tool, a kind of mental framework to get past that natural bias. You can think of it as your own internal fairness compass. Just look at this. It lays out the mental shift perfectly. Over here on the left, you've got the biased view. It's all tangled up with my feelings, my needs. It's messy, right? But then look at the right side. That's the outsider's view. It's clear, it's objective, and it's all about principle. The goal is to train ourselves to jump from that messy internal view to the much clearer external one. So how do we actually do this? Well, there are two ways. First, you've got that gut feeling, that nagging sense that something is just wrong, the one that eats you up inside. But let's be real, our gut can be tricky. So the best way, the real game changer, is this: take yourself out of the picture. Imagine someone you really care about, a friend, your mom, your kid, in the very same spot. Would you still call it fair then? That simple switch in perspective, it can change everything. Okay, so you've used your compass. You've spotted something that's genuinely not right. But what now? Just seeing it isn't enough, right? This brings us to a really crucial point: acting on it, especially when it feels like the clock is ticking. And this is where it gets really intense, because sometimes fairness has a deadline. It just can't wait. There are these moments where the chance to do the right thing is so small, and if you hesitate, that's it. The moment's gone. This gives us a super practical game plan, a hierarchy of action. Ideally, yeah, you act perfectly and right on time, but life isn't ideal, is it? So if you can't do that, doing something, even a partial fix, is way better than doing nothing at all. And if even that's not possible, the absolute bare minimum is to just recognize what's happening, acknowledge it. That way, at least you can learn from it for next time. And here's the thing that really matters. These moments, they're the ones that shape who you become. Every time you face one of these situations, whether you nail it or mess it up or just learn a hard lesson, you're building your character. That sense of justice gets stronger, more a part of you. You carry that with you. And that brings us to our final, and honestly, maybe the most powerful idea of all. We've talked about judging fairness and acting on it. But what happens when fairness isn't even the most important thing happening? This is where we stop just reacting and start actually creating meaning. Just take a second with this one. The clock doesn't decide when the moment matters. You do. We just talked all about the ticking clock, about urgency. But this idea completely flips that on its head. It's saying that time itself doesn't have any power. We give it power. This is the whole point, isn't it? A moment isn't important because of some external clock. It becomes important because we decide it is. Our choices, what we value, what we focus on, that's what turns a bunch of random seconds into something that matters. We're the ones who give life meaning. If you need a picture of what this looks like, think about this: two people sharing an umbrella in the rain. One's getting soaked, the other is half dry. If you're looking at it from a fairness perspective, it's a total failure. But that's not what the moment's about, is it? They've chosen to make it about sharing, about being together, about laughing at the ridiculousness of it all. They created their own meaning. So I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. In this crazy, messy, often unfair world, you hold the power. You have the compass to find your way. And more importantly, you have the ability to decide what truly matters. So, what moments are you going to choose to make matter?